Big episode, which proved Chad eerily correct.
Not 100% correct. Not 100%.
No, but the whole the bodies have already been chopped into easily handled pieces.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, wow. Because, I mean, I was thinking, it's going to end up being bodies, but you were very specific. I was like, dude, do you think that they did?
And that just shows, just how thoughtful the show is, because there's been a lot of other shows where a hesitation like that, if we're going, not immediately reacting, wouldn't have meant anything.
Right.
But here it does mean something.
What is this? And then, oh my God, it's that thing. Yeah.
Every little thing is relevant in the show, and I love that about it.
Yeah.
So,
but the main thing I love about this episode and the show itself?
What's that?
The main thing I love is when they do set up a premise like this, which Jerry was also, I would give Jerry credit. I don't think he listens, but that's okay. Jerry was also going like, it's going to be Soylent Green. And I was like going, that seems too obvious. That was my thing. That seems really obvious. Well,
Bingo.
it was. But what I like about it is, even when that is the scenario, Vince Gilligan is flipping he's flipping your expectations all the time. And I like that because like I was just saying before, if something is something I expected, like if they go with a very typical Superman Luthor Brainiac plot for Man of Tomorrow, I will totally be happy as long as it's well done. Because like I said, I love that stuff. If this had just been Soylent Green type thing, I would have been fine with it. I would have been like, well, not the most original, but whatever. But what's so great is he's expecting and does spend a lot of the chunk of the beginning setting it up to not the very beginning. We'll get to that, but setting it up where her hyper disgust and this is so very wrong and I'm blowing the lid off of it. The way that gets deflated is great. It is so well done.
It is so,
And when she finds out that all she literally had to do was ask, which she never thought to do, but what's his name?
Koumba Diabate.
He did. He asked.
Yeah.
And that is so great. But this episode has, a Bond movie for a bit.
Yeah, it's basically a Casino Royale.
What had me wondering at this point, and then they do answer the question. It's like they're not going to leave things hanging other than big things. I'm watching that scene, which is Koumba in Vegas, having a very James Bond like Casino Royale poker game against like someone that looks like a Bond villain with an eye patch, and there are beautiful women everywhere, and they're all just like, cooing over him and bringing him drinks and all this stuff. And it looks it's supposed to. It looks like a cliche. But then I'm thinking, watching it, wait, does that mean that they can't lie, but they can act? Because what makes Koumba happy is this scenario. Does that mean that Koumba had told them how the plot would go? And then it's like, now we're on. Plus, the world has the techniques and knowledge and memories of every great actor.
Yeah.
In the world.
And the knowledge of all films, too.
And the knowledge of all films.
You could have said, let's recreate this scene.
Gaming. Yeah. All that is there. It's like, you guys be the seductresses, you guys be the villains, and and I'm going to be the cool hero guy. And so I'm sitting there trying to figure out, is that, and then they do it perfectly with, at the end of the scene, when he wins, the villain guy's smiling. Everyone's smiling because it's like, we've made him happy. But then he goes, oh, no, you're out of character. It's like, you're out of, and he goes, oh, right. And he just goes, smashes the glass. It's like, I'm a villain. And later, when he leaves the room, nothing is colder and sadder and creepier than when they just all drop character, because they don't have to portray these people anymore. And now they just go about this task. We have to clean up. They're not robotic. It's just that we did what he asked and we have no reason to continue acting like these people. And it's just like the music stops and they're just cleaning up. And it's just eerie. So I love
the extent to which they were creating this illusion for him is that even in other rooms, they're pretending to have conversations.
Oh, yeah.
These Elvis impersonators going, hey,
he walks through the halls and they're all these like glamorous types who basically been told to be extras in the scene. So they're all just like, this is what he expects, and this is making him happy.
Yeah.
It's also creepy because he ends up in the hot tub with like a couple of the sexy ladies and the sexy card dealer. And they're doing like, again, Bond movie, like, we all love him so much. Oh my God, I hope he has sex with me right now. And then like the cleaning lady comes in, he's like going, what's your name? And she's like,
Joette.
Joette. And he's like, get in here. And she's like, absolutely. I guess the temptation to be that kind of like, well, it's offered and there's no consequences and they just want to make me happy. So he's literally just like going, yeah, all right. But then they get called out of the room and they all have to go, unfortunately, we have to leave. And
Right.
he's like, oh, but, and he's like, Joette. And she's like, nope,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
So that's how he's living. But Carol, with her camera, has, she's found out the truth, and that they are preserving and chopping up bodies to be used as a food.
Yeah, and she thinks that this is totally the smoking gun that's gonna
Get
everybody
it's a smoking
on her
gun.
side.
Everyone's going to be on her side.
Even the music, I love that scene where she runs out of because I saw the episode opens with her running out of the storage facility, and she's like, oh my god, and the music's there with her, and like, dun, dun, dun.
Oh, they're playing it exactly the way you'd expect.
And I thought when the music was coming in, it was like this. The music seemed a little bit out of character for the show, and I thought that was kind of harkening forward to the fact that this is not as big of a deal as she's making it out to be. Yeah, it was really it's just so brilliant the way they framed the whole thing.
Her thought process, and that's part of the fun of watching Carol, is her thought process is, again, she's made a video. She's going to make sure everyone knows. And then she's like, this may be too big. They may not allow this to go forward. And he's only in Vegas. So she just drives. Just drives. We also, speaking of driving, we've got, what's his name down in Paraguay?
Manousos, after all this unfolds, we meet him at the end of the episode.
Okay, I'll save that.
But it does happen 3 days before, or something like that, 4 days before this.
Right, because they do a jump back, and that the jump back is to her previous package. He gets one of the packages there. But, But anyway, we're not there yet. So she drives to Vegas, and again, I'm sure there are behind the scenes things. I'm not listening to the podcast. I do like behind the scenes stuff, but I just wonder, how do you get even one street in Vegas? Though these days Vegas is kind of a ghost town, but they've got Vegas streets empty. It's just
well, they could have done that in post with digital effects.
Especially I think the bigger views, but the ones that are clearly look real of a car driving down and where it's more localized. I'm like, man, it's broad daylight and they seem to have gotten a street shut down.
However they did it, it's very impressive.
It's great. So she goes to she shows up in town and she's trying to follow directions, but then all the signs, it's just so brilliant. The world's still talking to her. Hi, Carol. The big signs of the casinos and hotels are all saying welcome, and he's waiting for you in this suite. And so she's like, I love how Carol gets so angry that they're helping her in any capacity, even something as harmless as that. She's like, and then she drives, she parks, and of course she can park right in front of it because there's no one there but him. But she goes in, and he's very friendly. He's never been a bad guy. And he's like, hi, Carol. Yeah, let's talk. Knew you were on your way. And she goes, yeah, I guess you did. But you don't know what I'm here to tell you. And she is doing all that stuff do you have a TV? He's like, yep. Yeah. And she finds the auxiliary, okay, plug in the USB or whatever. And she goes, watch this. And he goes, oh, is it about the fact that they eat humans?
Is this about the meeting people?
Is this about the meeting people? And she's like, what? Yeah. And he goes, yeah, they let me know that you would probably have a problem with that. And he goes, I have a problem with it too, to some degree, but here's the explanation. And then literally there's a video with John Cena because he is the world.
He had been hanging out with John Cena.
Yeah. and he's like, oh, speaking French.
Yeah. He's even more convincing in French. Yeah.
And it's basically made for her. It's like, hi, Carol. This was John Cena. This, is John Cena, and we want to tell you about.
He just says we are John Cena.
Yeah, we are John Cena.
Thing. Yeah,
and we know that you've got questions about what we're eating and the milk cartons and all that. And he explains. And they sit there basically laying it out in very. That's the thing. The world mind, the unit, is incredibly efficient, and that's what I had speculated on, was that the human bodies would just be about. They have to be either buried, but that's inefficient, or turned into other things, and literally turned into food, because he sits there going like, as you know, we can't kill anything, which means we can't even pick apples off a tree,
which is
and all that's
that's kind
it's
of
like so that's and it's like we eat anything that falls, but the amount, and we're making use of everything that was already processed, but some things will spoil. And he lays it out and saying, this is how many people are on Earth currently. And we will probably have a serious food shortage in like 7 years or something like that. He's like, so yeah, we've started processing anything that fell, including, people are dying, and people did die before who are still viable food products. It's like, yeah.
It's interesting. He doesn't even mention the 800 million people who died at the joining. He just says that daily 200,000 people around the world die from natural
just old causes. Age, that kind of stuff.
So it's a sustained, but it's not really. Well, we find out it's not going to sustain them. That's what Koumba adds later. Says, well, what they didn't mention in this is that they're most likely going to even with HDP, they're going to HDP. They're going to run out of food in 10 years and die of starvation.
Human dietary protein, or what is it?
Human-derived protein.
Human-derived protein. That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just presented so reasonably.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's gross. And the world's like, we know that in a lot of cultures, it's like, this is touchy stuff, and it's not ideal. We would choose not to do this. It is just about necessity. And you're like,
I love that moment in John Cena's thing. He says, like, do we prefer to eat human remains? No.
Yeah.
His line is great.
And I still love, no matter how well this is presented, and again, how open the conversation seems to be with her and the guy. Why do I keep forgetting his name?
Koumba. Yeah,
I think it's because I keep wanting to jump to.
You just call him Casanova McBoner, which is what I think she calls
Casanova
him.
McBoner.
Second episode.
So good. But I was just bringing up another line of Carol's, which I just was so great, where she is the angriest human. And I love her realness for that. She walks out, she goes, maybe tell them to learn how to fucking pick an apple.
Yeah, pick an apple, yeah.
And I was like, maybe they could just fucking pick an apple out of a tree.
And there's some really this gets to what the dynamic. I really love the scenes between the two of them in this episode. It's one of the best scenes we've had so far. Is getting to know Koumba a little bit better.
Yes,
and seeing how they play off of each other. Because I think the thing that Koumba is doing, not that it's defensible, because he's made the leap that Carol has not made yet, is that the Hive is a new life form. It's one entity that he speaks to as a we. And for him, it's like, oh, they're consenting to this, so it's cool.
Yeah,
Carol,
that's basically
it's like, no, they're individual people who are being controlled. And I think maybe Koumba's starting. There's a moment after when he puts a blanket over, which is a really sweet scene where we see how caring a person he is.
Yeah,
and he goes to look out the window and is kind of thinking about something, like he's having this pensive moment. We don't know what he's thinking about, but I'm kind of wondering if he's starting to kind of see things from Carol's view a little bit slowly.
What I do like is, it is sort of, or at least the theme seems to be, you do you. And that's his viewpoint, which is, this is how I'm dealing with it, and I'm having a good time, all things considered. And if that's what you want to do, Carol, which is figure out a way to reverse it, you do you. But what I do like is that he's still being helpful, because the whole thing of him going, but here's the thing that I know that you don't, which is they cannot turn us without our consent.
Yeah. It's like, he just found out the day before.
Mm-hmm. He goes, I just found that out. And he basically says, all you got to do is tell them that you don't consent, because they have to take stem cells. They have to like inject you in your hip or whatever it is. And it's like, that's how they get them. And she goes, well, they could come at me at any time or whatever. And he's like, no. If you tell them that you don't want them to do it, they will not do it. And I love that they have the patience too, as a TV show, to do the whole thing of, she goes to the phone. She gets the same answering machine message from the world saying we need space. And then she goes, is this true? And then she hangs up because she's like, oh, I got to wait for a response. And he goes, no, just look out the window. And they respond on the screen. It's like, yes, Carol, that's absolutely true. And then she goes back. And the thing is, you could easily jump ahead, but they choose to like literally keep the shot the same.
Keep you rooted
she
in the
goes
moment.
back, picks up the phone. She goes, she's exasperated. She has to listen to the same thing she's been listening to for like days.
Yeah.
And she listens to the whole thing and she goes, I do not give my consent. Do you understand? I do not give up my consent. Hangs up, then goes back to the window, looks out. It's like, absolutely, Carol, we understand. You do not give your consent. We will not take those stem cells. It's just like,
did you notice the very specific language they used? When they answer, they said, we will not collect stem cells from your body.
What, isn't that the only way they could?
I don't think she's safe. There a lot of people have been pointing this out. I had forgotten about this, but in episode 2, it wasn't episode 2. I forget whatever episode opened with the ice hotel flashback.
Yes.
Carol mentions offhand at some point, jokingly, "Oh, I could have just frozen my eggs here."
Oh, I forgot about that.
So she has
she's got
genetic material stored somewhere, which the Hive would know about because they've got Helen's memories.
But
so they
that
know
still wouldn't impact her.
What's that?
But that still wouldn't impact her. If she said, I don't consent to you taking my stem cells, isn't that is it just implied that means, and by that I don't want to be altered in any way? Because they would still, even if they have the material and they did that, they would still have to get it into her.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is they respect this. They don't want to intentionally harm anybody, so they can't stick a needle into her. But as far as like actually pushing the virus on her, they will do that. That's how they took over the world.
Yeah.
So
they do believe it's in her best interest.
Yeah. I don't think she's safe, and I don't know when she's going to figure this out. If they can extract stem cells from frozen, I
guarantee you that this. Well, I should stop because I can't predict what Gilligan's doing. But I was going to say, I don't think that's going to be in the next couple episodes. It won't be in this season.
That might be a season like cliffhanger.
Cliffhangers that you see someone in the lab taking out the thing that says Carol.
Or maybe that, or
Durka.
One thing I'm kind of predicting might happen at some point. If this series goes on for several seasons,
you think Bigfoot will show up?
No.
Well, I mean, that's what $6 Million Man did. It's like in later seasons, Bigfoot would show up.
There may be people getting turned and turned back, going back and forth between the Hive, and we get to see.
That's a little severancy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But by the way, how interesting is it that this has been a concept that Gilligan's had for years and has tinkered with in his head? I mean, obviously they're not influenced by each other, but the idea of like hive mind and separating of work and life consciousness, it just seems very of its time. I'm like, Severance and this are a good duo, and they make me feel gross because the world is fucked up, and that's all I'm saying.
So the other thing that I thought was really interesting that I did not predict here again, and I love that every episode brings something I didn't see coming, that their desire to not cause harm to any living thing extends to plants, and I didn't really pick up on that.
They did kind of say that at the island retreat where they were
mainly talking about animals and insects in that conversation. And so because Carol just assumed they were vegetarian, he says, well, we prefer to be vegetarian. That's when she says in her conversation to Koumba, like, oh great, so every lawyer in the world survived. So which I think is actually, that's a clever hint for us to think, to examine their language when they say. This is the
same universe that Better Call Saul happens in?
No, that when they say, we will not harvest stem cells from your body specifically, that's a very lawyerly thing to say.
Legal, sneaky talk.
But the thing about them not being able to harvest food is so weird because they're deliberately going to be starving themselves out because they refuse to farm. And what is the purpose? Is the virus just to spread?
Well, they're not refusing to farm. They're refusing. I mean, in other words, I think they can plant. They can plant crops.
They can't harvest. They can't harvest
unless it falls from the. I mean, and very often that is the case. You
but it's not
know,
going to be
corn will
enough.
fall, but it won't be at its, peak. They'll get
Right.
some grungy
Windfall,
corn
as they
and some,
call it. Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. But you're
But
right. I mean, it's just, it's
they're,
putting a weird, and you wonder how the other societies or other universes have dealt with it too. But
well, it
yeah,
makes me wonder if the purpose of the virus is just to spread it to the next planet, and they have to build some kind of transmission device to move it to the next planet. Because they, in the first episode, before the joining happens, the astronomers are playing catch outside the
yes.
building where they're studying it, and they goes, just imagine how big would an antenna have to be to get a signal that strong to us from 600 light years away? And the guy goes, antenna the size of Africa, as they're tossing the ball around. If that's what they're doing, if they're planning to build something that big, how could they do that without killing stuff? I don't see how they could actually.
Such a good
The
point.
same reason they can't harvest crops. I don't know if they could actually clear land to build something
even if
that
they
huge.
said, okay, the Sahara Desert, but at the same time, you're sitting there going,
Maybe, yeah.
there's life in the Sahara Desert that they would
go
impact.
into space. Maybe they go into orbit and build it there.
Yeah, maybe a space antenna.
If that's what they're doing, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. We don't know jack crack. But we do know that Manousos
Oviedo.
Yeah, he is he, again, in his paranoia, and I guess it is weird that he was looking for he seems to be looking for other people that are out there, but doing so, he hung up on a woman who was trying to talk to him. But whatever. He's going through literal like ham radio. He's just going channel to channel. It's like, that's just static, cross it out. He goes back to a previous channel that he found a signal. It's not words. It's nothing more than signal of some sort. And he's just putting question marks. Like, I don't know what this is. Neither do we, by the way. And he, of course, we saw him eating dog food. That's gotta be terrible. And once again, someone comes to the gate, dropping off a meal for him. And he goes out and does the same old thing of like not eating your goddamn food. He knocks it over. Man, I bet that food's really good too. What an idiot. But but he sees the envelope. That's new. He takes the envelope inside and he plays the previous message from Carol, which has been translated. It has subtitles, just like she told him. She goes, translate
on a VHS tape, which I thought was
VHS tape.
Clearly somebody in the Hive had knowledge of what equipment he had in his office.
It's like, oh, he's only got a VCR. Yeah. And he watches it and he's like, okay, all right. But again, his paranoia is so strong. He's like a survivalist. He's putting pack together and he realizes he wants to communicate. He's like, I'm going to reach out to this Carol person, but he is not going to get on a plane. He can't fly a plane. He's not going to get on a plane that they're flying because he doesn't trust them. He's going to get his old car. So he goes back to, I guess, his house.
Yeah.
And there's food in the fridge. Thank God. I bet it's only been a week. I'm like worried about spoilage, but he does sniff it first.
It's been 9 days at this point since the joining. Yeah.
And shoveling it down, packing stuff up, and then he pulls out maps. The second he did that, we had said that. We had talked about like, what is he? Is he going to drive from Paraguay? And he is. He pulls out maps for like all of South America. He's on his way. But the thing is, he goes to his house, then takes the cover off his car. And even though it's kind of a cool older car, it's not in great shape, as we find out. But so he's rolling it out. He's going to take off. But then there's someone standing in the darkness. And she goes, where are you going, my son? And this is a little in that eerie, like undead movie, vampire or zombie thing where there's this, it's like, you're not my mother. That thing where it's like, oh, I care about you. And where are you going? And he's like, I'm not talking to you. It's like, you're not my mother. And that's just so cold, man.
Well, specifically says, you're not my mom because my mom was a bitch.
Yeah, that's true. And that's great. That's great writing too.
Yeah.
I will say this, Vince Gilligan isn't writing all these episodes, but he knows how to pick a great, writer's room, because it feels all of a piece. They all have seemingly his wicked sense of humor too.
We learn a lot about, if you pay attention to that scene in his apartment, You see there's a scene of him as a young boy with his father. So apparently he's got a stronger relationship with his dad. What happened with his mom? Who knows what went on there? But he just doesn't want anything to do with her. And she's the one who's bringing him food, by the way. It's the same woman in the VW Bug.
That's who ended up in her Volkswagen Beetle.
Maybe the only person in the Hive who's there that was related to him.
The dad's probably dead.
Yeah, I mean, that's the feeling I got as a dad.
That's the only family he has, I think.
And as he's collecting all his stuff, I thought it was really interesting. He had been hiding money in the lamp over his bed or something. And he gets out, he counts the money. He's like, what's he going to do with the money? And it made me think, like, does he not know the extent of the Hive? But surely he does. But I think what this is because he left that note when he went to open up his customers' storage spaces. He left a note because he's very conscientious. I think he's on his journey. He's going to be leaving money for stuff that he's taking. That's my guess. Is that he's a man of honor. He may
be anticipating or thinking, because Carol also doesn't know. It's like, okay, maybe within a year's time or another generation, they come back to us or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess he's like, just like Carol, who wanted her Sprouts back or whatever the name of that, grocery store was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's the same way. It's not that he can't adapt. Clearly he's adapting, but in an extremely paranoid fashion. But they're both focused on, this will end. Or if I had my way, we'll go right back to the way we were. Mm-hmm. Money will count again. And I don't want to be a thief.
Yeah.
So I'm going to apologize in advance for the stuff I've taken, which is so crazy.
Yeah.
But it's so,
and that's
again, the thing, this show just like, I don't know where it's going.
I know. Because I watched this scene. I watched this episode a couple of times, and that scene where he gets the money out of the thing is like, was that money? It is money.
Yeah.
That is so fascinating. And obviously every little detail in the show
it's up in like his like ceiling light or something. He's pulling it out.
Yeah, exactly.
At first I thought it was like, because I've seen this in a lot of movies, like, oh, is that like a stash of drugs or booze? No, he's just grabbing money.
So, and here's the really interesting thing. And this gets into what this week's episode is going to be.
It's the musical episode. Yeah.
Right. That's where they all start.
I am sick of talking to the world. I want to talk to you. Specifically you.
The title of the next episode is The Gap. And a couple of weeks ago when I was before we even had that episode where he gets
you're wondering where they get their clothes.
No, I was wondering, I was saying, is Manousos, if Manousos is going to have play a part in the story, he's got to find his way to Albuquerque.
Oh, you think they're going to literally just jump ahead?
No. But this is back a few weeks ago. I was thinking, how is he going to get there? So I was imagining him driving from Paraguay to America at some point. Yes. And I picked up my phone and tried to see how long that takes.
Yeah.
And Apple Maps kept telling me there's no path from Paraguay to Albuquerque. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Maybe it's just too much data or something. No, it turns out there is not a contiguous road that goes all the way from South America into Central America.
Yeah, that would make sense.
There is this region between south of Panama, north of Colombia called the Darien Gap, which is
look at you doing research.
Well, this is all over. A lot of people are learning about the Darien Gap now because of the show. It's
is that what your next band's going to be named?
Yeah, there's all this treacherous jungle land, which is just on its own is very dangerous to cross because of.
Well, how do people cross it if there are no roads?
They just do it at their own risk. A lot of people die trying to cross it. And there have been, I was reading about it. Apparently some people have managed to drive across it, but it takes them like weeks to do so because it's so treacherous.
So most people just fly?
Yeah. They either fly or take a boat, like a ferry around it or something like that. So when he gets to that point, he must know
century that there would be a place that they could not bridge.
Yeah, I know. Even in this day and age, they can't do it. So he must know about the gap. I'm guessing because he's got all these maps. Surely he knows.
So you think the next episode's going to be strongly Manousos heavy?
Crossing the gap, yeah. And I don't know. Does he just go on foot? And I'm guessing he's going to be refusing the help of the Hive along the way. The whole time.
People are watching his progress. They will,
right? So
because it's just like, oh, where's that guy going?
But I'm thinking that
does he need help?
And that's going to be interesting enough. But I'm guessing he's going to discover something as he's crossing the gap that's going to be important because just having the gap there as a thing to cross is fascinating. But what does it mean for the story overall?
Maybe that's where they're building the antenna. But at the same time, I was there going, your question about they're going to be killing something.
Yeah.
Because she brought up like you step on an ant and they go,
yeah,
those things that we can't.
We try not to.
It's like we try not to.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Because we kill things all the time. Literally, we kill time. We kill hopes and dreams. We kill things all the time. You cannot not kill.
That signal, I'd have no idea what it is. I think a lot of people are theorizing that the signal that Manousos found has something to do with what keeps the hive connected. Like it facilitates telepathy, right? But that is the most easy way that most writers handle telepathy, is like, well, it's just telepathy.
Yeah,
there may be more behind it. But if it is reliant on an actual radio signal for them to communicate, I'm like, well, how does that track? Because how did they get? But that wasn't up and running when they first started spreading.
I don't know. That would also seem like a really big Achilles heel. You know, it's like, all we have to do is take down, and maybe that's it. All we got to do is destroy the thing that puts out the signal.
But the thing is really interesting about that noise. It's there's this, you hear this, it's rhythmic. You know, bah, 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 bah,
it's probably the theme.
And somebody did connect it to the theme. I don't know exactly how it connects, but the original signal came in parts, in 4 parts.
Yes.
So the 4 is important somehow. So it has something to do.
I'm no mathematician, and also I can't, as my former bandmates could tell you, I'm not a great keeper of time, but but like all the radiating dots, which of course in the opening, I'm not to the extent that you're sitting there like frame by frame and like, I think there's a message here. I just look at it going, this is clearly on purpose, and it's radiation of a signal, and all these dots are there's some on the outside that aren't being connected to it, but the ones that are being connected to it are coming in, getting more. And I'm like, yeah. It's just a very cool, just like the number 1 replacing the I, very cool graphic way of just like suggesting what this about is. And though to this day, I long for TV shows that have lyrics in their theme songs, this is very effective. And talk about Severance again. It's like, God, what a great theme. It just puts you right there. So this one is very sparse, but it's getting the point across. And I do love it as a graphic, representation. Whether or not there are clues in it, I can't say. It's like, are those groupings of 4? Is it, wait a minute. If I put that on a graph and I send it to the computer, will it actually say it's this signal? I have no idea. But there are probably people out there doing it. And Vince Gilligan's sitting there going like, hey man, just go out and touch grass, dude. Hey, it's cool. Just watch the show, man.
It's just like, and this is proven true every week. There are some things that I get right with my predictions, but there's like even more things that I had no idea was coming. Yeah. Because the whole thing with the dead bodies turns out, we were right about what it was. It's a nutritional thing, but it turned out to be it was just a stepping stone to get to a much bigger plot detail.
Yes.
And that's
turns out, again, counter to what I will say this too. Carol is being represented as possibly, she always has been. In the flashbacks, she is not the most emotionally stable person. She has a lot of doubts, insecurities. She is a little bit paranoid and dismissive herself. She can't really accept happiness. That scene in the ice hotel was similar. It's like Helen's just trying to get her to enjoy it, and she just goes, wow, this is really cold. It's like, don't you understand? This is, there's some physical discomfort, but look at this is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And then she does look at the, Northern Lights, she's like, okay, the aurora is amazing. And she starts to lean in. She does need a Helen. She does need someone who can bring her into something positive. But what I do like is she's represented like a writer. She is represented like someone who, similar to yourself, is like, here's the situation. I'm going to pick it apart. I'm going to find out. She needs that. Like, it is a mission, because no one's ever going to read her books again. Or if someone does, it'll be the whole world and they'll all tell her it's great. So what's the point of even creating anymore? Mm-hmm. So she's desperate for some meaning. But I love seeing her, like, that reveal was just one of the best things I've ever seen, where she's like, I have them now. Yeah. This thing, no one's going to say this is good. And then it's like, oh, you mean the thing about the meeting people?
Yeah, we already know. There was one detail that this is so fascinating and such a a Vince Gilligan thing. When the next morning when he makes breakfast for her,
Yeah.
and it's avocado toast, eggs, and bacon.
Yeah.
And she takes them and makes a sandwich out of them.
Yeah. And he's like, huh.
And he's like totally fascinated by what he's seeing. So he immediately duplicates what, so this is going to be good. So I'm going to duplicate it. And she doesn't even notice that him doing this.
She doesn't.
And, but he's so hungry for new experiences. And I
picked up on that too.
I think he's eventually going to get bored with
his life will be very empty at a certain point, and he'll realize that he gets nothing new out of them. He gets what will make him happy, but nothing new. Unless they said, we're going to give you part of the project. You're going to help us build the antenna. Literally, they can't give him anything. Yes, their experiences like, oh, I never flew in Air Force One. Now I have. Yeah. I've never stayed in one of these things. I've never had multiple beautiful women wanting to have sex with me. Let's try that. And then, yes, eventually it's like, I have everything and nothing. And he is getting, that was a very good, I'm glad you brought that up. Such a good little moment where it's just sort of like, oh, a new experience. And that's what he's hungry for. It's like, I never thought of putting those together. Though again, I did want to throw up in my mouth because they were eggs. Oh. Anyway. I was like, the avocado, the bacon, the toast. I'm down with all that. Just get the egg off there.
We're often talking about showing, not telling. That was total showing.
Yep.
No telling whatsoever. Yes. It was, and it's what's a lot of things in the show. It's a lot of showing, not telling. And we will see later what this means, but it does mean something. I will say
this is a show that you don't have to pick it apart like Chad and I do. You don't have to. You can sit and watch it. You don't have to obsess over, is that a clue to something else? But this is a show that benefits because it's an intelligent show. It benefits from you. You don't have to go back and watch it a second time unless you really love the episode, but it's pay attention and you get a lot more out of it because you're like, and it just impresses you the level of, because you were pointing out, it's just how dedicated the entire production staff, actors, art direction, all of it, and the writing is just, they're all at the top of their game, giving you stuff, and nothing is fat. There's no fat on this, on these bones. And I sit there going like, again, we might get to the end of it and everything gets revealed. Season 2 wraps up, ratings are in the toilet. It wraps up and we go, oh, Vince, I thought it was cooler than that. It might still happen that way. Yeah. But this is not a show that I sit there like on my iPad and look up occasionally. It's a show I watch all the way through. And there are plenty of things, like I said before, I'm on a Brooklyn Nine-Nine rewatch, and it is literally just, it's playing, and I remember a joke, and I look up and I laugh, but I'm back to doing something else. That's still entertaining, and I love it, but it's something that I can it's like junk food. This is very nutritional. Yeah. It's almost like a human-derived protein.
HTP. Yeah.
So I'm down with HTP. I like the way you asked me that. What about you? PSAPs, are you guys down with HTP? Yeah, me. Let us know again if you're enjoying Pluribus. Let us know again. Chime in if there's something you'd like us to talk about. Every now and then someone does bring up something like, hey, have you ever, and I'm like, boy, I wonder if I could talk Chad into that.
It's just, man, this time is the only limiting thing. Somebody was saying, you should do X-Files. I would love to do X-Files, man, but we already have so much on our plate, especially with Supergirl coming up. And so many
people have covered X-Files. There's that. I mean, it doesn't mean everyone has an opinion, and I would watch that show, even the bad seasons. I would watch it again. But, I
messaged you about this. I was mentioning this when we were first talking about Pluribus, is that X-Files episode where Mulder, Scully finds Mulder unconscious in a hotel room, and when he wakes up, he's reciting the lyrics to Shaft.
Yeah.
That episode was written by Vince Gilligan, by the way.
Was that the vampire one?
I think it was. I think it was a vampire.
The vampire that is literally the old folklore vampire. So scattering rice, and he has to sit there and count all the rices, all the pieces of rice, and the OCD of the putting the shoes down perfectly. God, so Vince Gilligan.
One more thing I want to say. This is not a prediction. It's more of a hope. I hope that Pluribus does a flashback where we get to see what situation Koumba was in when the joining happened?
I would like,
what
I
his
mean, the
background
thing is with all the people that are the free thinkers, I mean, the dream is that if the show is sustainable and interesting, I'd like to get to know all of them at some point. But Koumba is very much a central one because he's so extreme and he has remained in the United States. Meanwhile, she would have to travel the world to go hang out with the bitchy mom with the kid. But yeah, that's the world that's the thing. I'm interested. He has done a good enough job to where I would happily go see what's up with that Chinese family. I would happily go because I'm interested in how everyone's dealing with it. The only characters I don't want to follow are the world because they'll all be the same. That's the problem is that, cut to Saskatchewan and it'll be people just going about their daily tasks they have to do.
Yeah.
And then the entire city will shut down. I was also fascinated by, just to keep Koumba happy, Vegas is still lit up. The full city is lit up.
Yeah,
and I was like going, they were the ones going like, oh, we turn all the lights off because we don't need them. We all go to bed at the same time and all that. And I'm sitting there going, they must sit there going like, okay, all right, Koumba wants the lights on. All right. Anyway, suck it, world. Anyway, and on that, thanks for watching another us talking video. I hope you enjoy them. Maybe in the next one we'll be dressed as Santa. I'm not promising, but maybe. All right, bye, peace apps.
Bye.